Hi everyone, I'm Jojo, or as you guys previously knew me as Shadowskull28. I'm doing World of Warcraft content now, and I'd like to start it off with this was an idea by my brother. I put a lot of hours into this game. And I figured I'd start it off with a in-depth guide on how to unlock the mount crafting in Zereth Mortis, and also where to get some of the initial patterns. So, if you're starting from Oribos here, we'll get straight into it. So if you're starting from Oribos here, you just take the big yellow portal on the second floor in the Ring of Transference. Take this giant yellow portal, and we're gonna go ahead and make our way out here. This is a lot easier with flying, I will say this now. If you do not have flying, I will potentially make a guide on how to obtain flying. I really need to do something about this brightness. Oh my lord, give me just a second here. Okay, sorry about that. I had to fix that brightness. It was really bright. So, if you have add-ons such as like Handy Notes, TomTom, it'll make everything so much easier. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have been spending your ciphers of the first one to unlock to a specific point called, I obviously we'll find out what it's called here in a minute. I've already done this on this tune, but I wanted to go ahead and specifically come here and show you guys which upgrade it is specifically. So you come to the Cipher console, and what you're going to want to upgrade to is Daedalic Understanding and then Sopranian Understanding. This is a major factor in unlocking crafting battle pets and mounts within the Zereth Mortis zone. So, with that, we're going to take this knowledge, and we are going to proceed back outside and up. I feel like I might have turned my brightness down a little too much, but that's fine. I'll fix it later. I just know that you guys can see a lot better. I'm having to double check over my second monitor here and make sure everything's going smoothly, because I do not record World of Warcraft stuff at all, if that often. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is there's this quest called Mysterious Greenery. Now, if you've completed a majority of these side quests, you'll have done a huge part of it already, because some of the side quests are optional, but there's two in particular you have to complete. One of them is, I believe it's called Finding Folly, over at the Buried Remnants, which in order to unlock it, you have to complete this quest over here, the Mysterious Greenery, which I believe unlocks whenever you do unlock Sopranian Understanding. So the less side quests you have out here, the easier it is to find these. So you're going to meet up with this little Night Fae butterfly person.
Welcome to the wheels.
Named Glimmercane, and you're going to proceed to follow this quest. So, as I said, we are going to do this step by step, an in-depth guide on how to do this, because the only video I have involving this game up at the moment is of a couple botters. So, you come up here, you can have Koshira, Kotessa, and Koriva, and you're going to turn in the quest to Koshira. You're going to take both of these quests, and you are going to complete them. Now, this can take you a varying amount of time, but since I am a prop paladin on this tune, this is going to take me no time at all, because I can just hop over and pull a big pack of mobs. Is it gonna... Okay, just pop over here, pull a big pack of mobs, and proceed to just AoE them all down. I would recommend completing the entire storyline before doing this, this set of quests, just because having your double legendaries really helps out with taking down a lot of these mobs, especially if you're a DPS. In my case, I am a tank, so there's really no issue in doing it. So for this quest, you have to get 8 Atoma internals, which come from these corpses, and you have to kill 15 of these elemental mobs, which are scattered all around the zone. I just realized my mouse cursor's not showing. There we go. Let's capture the mouse cursor there. So you'll notice that they are all over the zone here. They're everywhere. Can't miss them. And if you do, then you're probably like me and you're blind. But without that astute observation, we're just going to keep killing these mobs. I like to try and get as many kills as I can of these mobs before going around and picking up the Atoma corpses, just because it's... I can... Obviously, like I said, this is much easier if you have flying. If you don't, then just walk around like this and go to each individual location where these corpses can spawn. They can appear relatively anywhere on the land section. Like, so I don't think they'll ever spawn on the water, but I could be wrong about that. I've only ever seen them on land. So we grab that one. By this point, I only need to grab 3 more of these corpses, and I only need to kill 3 more mobs. So it's, like I said, it works out in tandem, but at the same time, you know, it's just... So, one of these one of the major things I would say during this, like, quest chain is it's not terribly long, but at the same time, it's not terribly short. So it's a little in between. If you catch my drift. It's kind of up in the air. We're trying to gauge just how long this quest chain can take you. So that is very much... But if you guys do enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like on the video to help the algorithm, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family that do play this game as well, or, you know, friends that just got into the game and are looking for things to do and are this far in. So yeah, but I will say, without a doubt, this is one of the more interesting quest chains outside of the story inside Zereth Mortis. So it's a very, I guess you could say, sporadic quest chain. So once you're done with that section, you'll talk to the little robots like I just did. They'll say something in Dialect or Sopronian or the first one language. And so you come down and you talk to Glimmercane after she arrives. And you're going to have to, you know, protect her while she does this stuff with the water. As you can see right here, elementals are going to start coming out of the woodwork. Not too terribly fast to where you'll get overwhelmed as a DPS, but at the same time, not exactly slow either. You'll see that by the time I do have these 2 killed, 2 more will immediately spawn within roughly 10-15 seconds, give or take. I just realized I didn't reset up the proper soul bind in my thing. Oh lord. Because I switch between Covenant as a prop paladin as well, so this is definitely different. This is my main Covenant, but I usually use Mechanicos as my soul bind. Nope. Sorry, little guy. Was startled Arlid, the little jellyfish. So basically what she's doing is she's collecting water to fuel the internals of this giant Atoma construct and we'll get to see what exactly it's used for. It escapes my mind at the moment as I did this on my main. So then the water bubble will appear. You'll collect it just like this. You'll fly over here. You can, during this quest line, to get a little extra help, you can summon Pock, because Pock is a very good boy. He helps out a lot. So you turn in a Splash of the Eternal with the Eternal Water. You'll get a quest from Shira. You'll accept this quest, and you will be ordered to follow them. So me, I like to mount up on my ground mount. This is one of the mounts that comes from the crafted. A lot of people will be after these kind of mounts specifically. And yeah, I will also link in the description, if I don't forget to. I doubt I will forget. I'll link in the description to a quick lookup page for all the patterns as well. For the ones that I don't cover in this video, because that would just take way too long. Because some of the patterns come from rare drop chances, from Moss 1 caches, or even from like an LFR run where you have to pick it up at the beginning of the LFR. But so activate 4 conductors within the Blooming Foundry. So then I'm going to come to this door and into this place where there'll be a perished Atoma. Click on that and get the quest from that as well, because you need to in order to do that. So in here, it's a little tricky sometimes to navigate. You can get really lost in this place very easily, because it's got one of those more confusing interiors. But as per usual, it's just, you know, kill mobs, loot their bodies, you'll get items called Winding Seeds, like this. You need to activate these 4 different conductors that are around the inside. I always activate the top one last, due to the fact of it's better that way. But you're just gonna steamroll through here. Come to these different rooms. Kill mobs as you go along. Just like that. And proceed like so. Here's another conductor. You can follow the exact route that I'm going if you want to. You don't have to. You can kind of do your own route with it in any order, as long as you activate all 4 of the conductors. It's very important to activate all 4 of them, because if you don't, yeah, it's just goofy. But you should, if you're lucky enough, you should have all 3 Winding Seeds by the time you hit the last conductor. So it's very simple, very easy. See, just like that. So then you come over here, activate the 3rd conductor, and then you're gonna come across over here, and there'll be the final conductor right there. So it's a pretty straightforward route to get up here and to activate all these conductors. Very simple, very easy, very quick. So then like that, and then there's the 4th one. These guys will appear up here. Don't get distracted by the question mark moving around on your mini-map. It tends to do that. It can be very confusing, but he will stop right here. The question mark will move one final time, and you can turn in these 2 quests. So just like that. He's going to start a dialogue. You won't be able to accept the next quest right away, so you have to wait for the charged constructor to walk, and then you should... They'll either start to move, or we'll see in a second. But yeah, you just pick up the next quest and do what that quest says, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, so they move, they run this direction. The construct disappears, but he does reload. He teleports himself. They all do. They walk to a certain point, then just poof. But oh no, bad things have happened, and the constructor is now corrupted. Not sure how that happens. But you just jump down here, you aggro him, you pull him, you do your thing. Those guys are going to help you fight it. And it's pretty much just straightforward from here. So a lot of things kind of happen. You want to interrupt this because it can hurt. I personally like to interrupt it myself just because. I mean, I don't have to myself because, like I said, I'm a tank. So tanks don't really have to interrupt that kind of mechanic during a little NPC fight like that, because they're extremely easy to handle and we tend to soak a lot of damage. Now, they're going to run to this teleporter. The first time I did this quest, I ran all the way back like an idiot. Didn't even see this teleporter. The teleporter is, of course, optional. Once you get out here, usually it does say, hey, yeah, oh yeah, you followed him. Go this way. So now that's done. There's also a treasure over here that spawns called discarded Atoma scrap. I don't actually know exactly where it's at over here, but I do know that it does spawn over here. Now, once you are done with that, what you can do, or what you should be able to do now, is if you go over to Pilgrim's Grace, just north of the Blooming Foundry where that last quest ended, there should be an NPC that you can speak to. And if there's not, then we missed a step, which in this case there is. His name is Elder Amir. He will give you the quest Finding Tali. You're gonna accept that quest, and you're gonna go and find Tali. So, we're gonna go ahead and fly over here to Tali. We're gonna talk to Tali. And you're gonna get the quest called Selfless Preservation. Now, you can do this quest with a group, and if you are a DPS, I highly recommend it because it'll take a while if you do not. Unless you are a very strong DPS class. But essentially, he's gonna this is the longest part of the quest chain specifically, and you get to meet a nice little Atoma that is very scared. For the ones that have done this quest line, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So start off by getting the stolen artifact, and next you're able to put the artifact back on this little spot right here, which will then allow it to teleport you inside where there's the Architect's Reserve. If you don't have this treasure, this is how you access this treasure. And you need an Architect in order to activate it. This is the little servitor that I'm referring to, by the way.
It is a particularly beautiful.
This entire quest chain kind of revolves around him. So you're gonna get 2 more quests that recommends 3 players. It says requires, but if you're a paladin, a lot of the time you don't need that extra help. But certain classes do. I know my hunter struggled with this a little bit, but yeah, because if you're obviously a paladin, you can just run around pulling everything. Like so. Pull them into a nice big group like this. And proceed to just wreck everything. Just like so. Because in this situation, you're going to be... There you go. There's a very good example right there. This is one of these items that you need for protoform synthesis. I want to say this item... Yeah, this item is specifically used for crafting one of the battle pets. So, yeah. You can... While you're doing stuff out in Zereth Mortis, you will get a lot of this stuff naturally. There is, however, only one singular mount you cannot craft without being revered with the Enlightened, and that is one of the Vombata mounts. In order to craft it, you have to be revered because it requires one of those specific materials in order to craft it. This quest goes really quickly if you can kill big packs. Just like any of these kind of, oh yeah, absorb the energies of these creatures quests usually go. So. And you're also going to have to go around and finding 6 Atoma corpses. They're usually highlighted on the minimap, as you can see up in the top right corner, with as a yellow dot. So they're relatively easy to find. So you find the 6 you need, and you just proceed to go around collecting them. I usually try to get all the mobs done. You can do them at the same time as you grab these. Some people prefer it that way. Me, I like to kill all the mobs first, drain their essences, and then go around and grab the depleted servitors. Just because it's a lot more proactive to me, I guess, or efficient. But I'm built different, so. But yeah. I'm just trying to guide everybody here in the right direction on how to unlock the mounts, or the crafting of the mounts. It will take you many hours in order to get all of the mounts that you want, or in general just all of the mounts, because it's anywhere from 350 to 500 Genesis motes, which are these little green things you get off of all living animals on Zereth Mortis. So like the scarabid crawlers, the annelids, the Vambata, the deer, like those elk creatures, and spiders are a big example as well of where to find Genesis motes. There's a really good farming spot over by where the Gorger event spawns, so around over here, or the Engulfer. The farming location is like right here. There's a lot of the times you'll find groups just standing there farming the endless amount of the those Gorger enemies that come from the portals to drain anima. So once you're done with those 2 quests, you're going to get a quest to do a ritual. When you're standing in the circle, you'll get this icon called Awaken the Server. It's an ability, like a quick action button. You click it, and you're going to use this orb to awaken the servitor. And awaken the servitor shall. It does take a few minutes in order to do it, but it is well worth it. So once he's awake, his name is Coda, and he is the most precious good boy you will ever meet out of the Atoma. I would almost say he's close to Pokepoke in cuteness, but he's a big boy. So now you need to get access requested, maintenance mode, and these 2 quests. One requires the restoration matrix, and the other one requires 4 terminals to be attuned. So now you're going to go ahead and walk back outside of the arrangement index. You're gonna mount up, and this section you need to go to is right over here where all these Mossworn elites are. Now, to attune to these terminals, you need attunement codex. Now, this is where this quest really requires a group. You have to kill these elite mobs in order to get the codex items. And you can carry more than one, of course. So that's always a nice thing, at least. So you'll just kill these mobs like you would any other day. Now, like I said, this quest is really nice in a group. But if you're a tank, like if you're a blood DK, maybe, I have no idea. If you're a prop pally, you for sure definitely do not need a group. Because I'm 246, and I'm able to do this on my own as well. And I just have basic knowledge of how to play a prop paladin. I'm sure healers can solo this quest if they really try hard enough. But I would not recommend soloing this as a healing class or a healing spec, because, you know, not all healers deal a high input of damage, and it would just generally take a very long time to kill these mobs. Unless you're about the time grind, that's up to you. Because it's, so far we're only 25 minutes in, and yeah. So I tend to just kill these mobs. I try to kill as many of them as I can, just to increase my chances of getting multiple attunement codexes. But on the offset, you don't want to take the chance of it only being a unique item, which it is not. It says it even says it itself, unique 4. You can just get one at a time and just use individual codex, and use the individual codex. So, like I said, I like to just get the 4 and then run around and activate them, just because it makes everything so much easier. So, I will be back with you guys as soon as I have all of these codexes. Okay, and just like that, I have all 4 codex keys. It actually didn't take me very long to get all 4. Not as long as I thought it was going to. Maybe took me like 2 minutes just to kill like 2 other packs. You might need to kill some mobs to activate these, like I'm having to do right now. But it's not too terribly difficult. I did not mean to pull those 2. Whoops. I was going a little nuts with tab targeting. That's okay though. Here, okay. Sorry about that. There's a little cut there. But, yep, so just clear out the mobs. Just like this. And I found a terminal. Once you're attuned to all 4 terminals, you're gonna just... I prefer to fly up and then come in here. So this part is really difficult for DPS players. I had to wait for another person to show up to do this part due to the difficulty of these mobs. And I decided that I'm going to do a separate video where I show off exactly where to get all of the patterns for mount crafting. And it'll be kind of like a project that I'll work on here. But you're gonna have to fight through these mobs here to kill the dominated architect. Now, in theory, I think you can just kill this one defiler and then run over and pull him. But in this room, there will be a pattern that does spawn over on the table in the back there. You can see the table right over there, just behind mob I'm killing. It spawns right here on the corner of this table. So we're just gonna run over. I'm gonna pull the architect. I'm gonna pull him to the back of the room right here, just so I don't accidentally aggro something else. He has a lot of HP, and he does all sorts of crazy mechanics that you will have to avoid. Otherwise, they can and or will kill you. I do recommend if you can interrupt his bolt, do so. Other than that, stay out of the little circles and you'll be just fine. As you can see, it's not too terribly hard. He is not immune to stuns, so you can stun him and get a bunch of free damage off. But you cannot interrupt his rejected creations. You can stun it, but you cannot interrupt it. So you just keep dwindling him down. But yeah, that little pattern I was talking about spawns right here on this table. you can keep that information in mind. The next video I do will upload will have this location in it. So, just a heads up there. You just want to keep beating him down until he's dead. I will say, I am definitely enjoying this patch way more than I enjoyed, Core Thief. And that patch, like 9.1 in general, was just really boring for me. But with 9.1.5, I have indeed gotten into a lot of stuff. I've hit 1400 rating in arenas on my hunter, so that's always an interesting thing. So now that you've got the restoration matrix, you just want to make your way out of this room. Obviously. So you're gonna walk right on out. There's still these two elite mobs, which you can not always avoid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to bubble and run. I like to take this little route up here. There's a cipher-bound chest spawn right there as well. Once you get far enough away from them, they will all, of course, de-aggro. Just gonna keep running until they de-aggro, just like that. The elite ones are more stubborn, somewhat. There they go. Of course, just mount up. I'm gonna grab the cipher-bound chest real quick. Just because it's here. And it despawned as soon as I tried to grab it. Oh, that's always lovely. So, once you have those, you're gonna go to the Protoform repository. Okay, so now, once you've done this portion, you're gonna come over here to the Protoform repository. You're gonna talk to Coda. You're gonna turn in these two quests. And you're gonna get another quest, which is stay near Coda while keeping enemies away to capture the Protoform repository. Let's do this. You're gonna run in here, and it's going to be one of those defense style quests where you're just gonna get swarmed by mobs, and you want to keep Coda alive. More or less, you want to stay inside his circle, but at the same time, you want to kill the mobs, because your percentage bar is going to go up as you kill these mobs. These mobs are also elites. They're no different from the ones you'd normally deal with when out in the area. But as long as they are nearby and doing their thing, they are going to interrupt Coda's progression of taking the repository. So you want to dispatch them quickly, or as quickly as you can. You want to interrupt certain abilities, of course. And once the mob is dead, it'll continue with the percentage. You'll get a decent amount of percentage before the next pack arrives in. And once that pack has arrived in, so when you're fighting the mobs, of course, they're, like I said, they're going to come in waves. All you have to do is get the percentage filled up and everything will despawn. And I think it's RNG based on what spawns. It could be an oppressor and then 2 packs of hounds. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say I've seen defilers spawn. You normally only have to fight a total of 4 packs, usually. As long as you don't step outside the circle when pulling the mobs and stuff like that. Because if you're not in the circle, then Coda will not do his thing. And just like that, Coda finishes. And these mobs, I think they stick around for a second. because you do have to kill these guys and then activate the so just kill these guys fairly quickly, kind of speed up the process. Press for time or something. Just like that. And then activate the restoration matrix and the whole room will clear. And Coda will then proceed to die, which is very heartbreaking and sad because he's such a good Atoma.
Must you always stomp about?
So you turn in the quest, final song. You'll pick up a quest called Judgment Call. So then you walk outside and head back to Pilgrim's Grace. So we're gonna fly over there real quick. It's just a hop and a skip away. It's very quick to go from the Protoform repository to the Pilgrim's Grace, because the pet button is also just south of Pilgrim's Grace, right over here, where that little like peak pointed section is. So you come here, you talk to him, and some dialogue will be exchanged between the two enlightened. And once that's done, you'll get another quest from Tali called The Lost Component. You'll get the Protoform Catalyst, and then you head back to the Protoform repository. So it's a back and forth quest, as per usual with World of Warcraft. Make sure if you are flying to avoid the Mossworn Heralds, because they will dismount you. And you'll either have a really bad fall, or you'll have to deal with unnecessary mobs as you're going along. So once you get back here, Coda is still here. So then you insert the Protoform Catalyst, and an Atoma Spirit will appear, and Coda will disappear eventually. You turn in the Lost Component. You can ask Coda, is that you? It'll say Coda, which is kind of a neat little touch by Blizz. So then you get the quest A New Architect, which is to Protoform synthesize a mount. You get the schematic Death Runner, and you get some Genesis motes. So for this portion of the quest, you just walk around and you grab the items. This mount is guaranteed from the end of the quest line. And got the Zereth lattice. And then you grab the last tool, just like that. Come back around, talk to the servitor interface, turn in a new architect. And just like that, you'll get a quest called Schematic Re-Assimilation Death Runner. You're going to turn in the schematic quest. You talk to him, begin Protoform Synthesis. And now, the first time you do this quest, you actually get all the resources that are required to craft the Death Runner. I've already crafted it. As you can see, it says already known. But with that, you are now able to craft mounts in Zereth Mortis. Keep an eye out for the next video that I do post, because it'll be of how to get all of the different patterns and stuff like that to learn all of the mounts for Protoform Synthesis. So with that, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button to help the algorithm. Don't forget to subscribe. Share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.